What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and another beginner's tutorial and guide. Today we're going to talk about relics, those marks, medallions, totems, and orbs, all the relics, and the differences between each. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, first off, I guess you could say the same for every piece of your gear. However, on relics particularly, it is very important to have legendary items. Now, it's not a game breaker if you don't, but in endgame, when you get to the top, you're not going to be able to truly maximize your defenses without having a legendary relic in the appropriate position. The reason being is legendary relics all have all 4 defensive stats. Now, that's not to say that a blue relic or a purple relic or whatever you can get your hands on is not going to help you advance, and you should always use your best piece to help your progression along. However, having all 4 of those stats on legendary relics makes them just a ton more versatile, and you can use them in many different places. Now, in addition to that, on relics, you will notice that, say like on this world tree totem, 2 of the stats are grayed out. What that means is this particular defense, the world tree, gains no benefit from defense speed or defense crit damage. Now, you can alter that somewhat with certain shards. For example, the Frostbite Tower from the Apprentice, it says you get no benefit from defense power or defense crit damage. However, I do have the Frosty Power shard in, so it is getting a benefit from defense power, but it's getting it through a shard and not by default. Now, each relic is basically separated into its own category depending on the primary stat. So I'm talking about the biggest big boy stat up there at the top. Totems will always, no matter what, have a primary stat of defense health. So defense health is going to be your highest number, making this an ideal relic to use in any of your walls. And I mean, not only ideal, the only choice. You really should never have anything else but a totem on any of your walls or blockades. Medallions have a primary stat of defense power, so these are best used in most defenses in the game, actually. The medallion is currently kind of the favorite go-to for just about all endgame players. On not all, but almost every single defense. Medallions are always going to have a primary stat value of defense power. Defense power obviously is a huge aspect of the game and is extremely powerful. So medallions will definitely be hot items that you're always looking for. Marks are going to have a highest primary stat of defense crit damage. Every mark, no matter what, is always going to be highest in crit damage, and these are best used in heavy critting defenses. However, the mark will always have the highest primary value, being defense crit damage. The orb will always have the highest primary value of defense speed. Now, that causes some problems with the orbs, as currently almost every tower in the game is very easy to get down to its defense speed cap. So it's easy to get a defense to the point where it's firing as fast as it possibly can, and having that additional higher value on an orb is really going to hurt things, as you're going to lose quite a bit of stat value from all of your stats. I personally stopped using orbs once I got to Chaos 5. Periodically I would throw one on something. However, every defense, you're going to look at it with a medallion or mark on it and with an orb on it and see the difference in defense speeds. They, of course, are always going to be displayed on the tooltip of the item, such as, say, those cannonballs we were discussing right here. So if I look down at the defense speed, the attack rate is 0.75, and that is ripping it out. Now that is using the defense rate shard. Now if I pull that out and put an orb in it, now I've got just an absolutely massive defense speed value. However, it's still at 0.75, and I did lose quite a bit in DPS. So you see the stat value loss here was pretty substantial, still firing at the same rate, doing 367,000 DPS, where with that mark, it's at 615,000 DPS. So a big difference between those. Orbs, by all means, they're very strong early game. Use them as you get them. As you're coming up through the Chaos ranks, you should always just use whatever relic you have that's the best, with the exception being those walls and the totems. We all know if the walls don't fall, usually you get to the victory screen. So totems are an important addition and really a must-have in any of your walls. So that will do it for now. Thank you for watching. Click that like button and please subscribe to the channel. And I will be back soon with much more Dungeon Defenders 2. Thanks again. I'll see ya.